Subscribe. On January 1st, 2022, the first interview with Ray came out as part of the Disclosure series, and it was a very powerful interview that started an entire series, and actually multiple series, from the Disclosure series to the Pyramid Code to Conversations with Ray, and just amazing things that were shared with the world because of all of you requesting for that to be the case. Now, obviously, it took me a lot of time to convince Ray to actually make that happen because he was very hesitant when it first started, and he still is very hesitant because he doesn't really get much out of these interviews other than giving his time, giving his energy, and sharing his experiences that, in his eyes, can only create more danger and threats in his life. Today, 3 years later, 2025, we're sitting here in an undisclosed location in New York, where I came here especially for this interview. We're going to speak about some current events, a lot of questions that many of you have, and a few things that we've been leading towards that Ray has been hinting towards over the past 2.5 years, or 3 years really, over the many interviews that we've conducted together. Before we begin, Ray, I want to say thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, there's many places that we can start. There's many questions that people have, but I really want to focus on what the focus and intention of this interview really is, based on your request, because over the past 2.5, 3 years since we've started this, you've kept saying over and over and over again that you want to retire, you want to move on, you want to move into a more normal life because your life has not been normal by any means over the past 14, 15 years or so since all of this started in your life. And it seems like today is that day, but that doesn't mean, in my opinion, that it's an end to anything, because knowing the person that you are, even though you want to move on, even though you want to take on different things and tasks in your life and just live a more normal life, the type of person that you are really isn't that type of person. So I'm going to give you your space, and I want to hear, and everybody wants to hear, why you've decided to make the decisions that you're making today. But I really just don't buy it, because I think you will always be back, because many times you've said, no matter how much you want to leave, you will always be a part of this, because curiosity always takes over. And this is the work of truth. It's the work of helping people, and the type of person that you are just doesn't seem like the type of person that can walk away from that. But I'll hand it over to you. I want to hear where you're at, what your logic is, and where your decisions really stand at this point in time.
Well, you're right. It's not an easy decision that I had to make, but I've been talking about it for the last 2 years. It's not just one reason. It's many reasons that brought me to this decision. Number one is that I feel I spent a lot of time with the organization, which took a physical and emotional toll on me. And I'm tired. Physically and emotionally, I'm tired.
You've said that many times.
The work is amazing. The work is very interesting. But I did have to give a lot of myself for this type of work. And it gets to a point where, I'm not as young as I used to be. I miss my family life, and I want to make it up to them. Not only my family and friends. They don't even know what's going on. I feel a lot of them lost certain experiences with me as a human being, as a friend, as a family member. So, yes, I want to go, although I traveled all over the world in disguise. I'd like to travel without a disguise and go on real vacation and enjoy myself and dive deep inside my own soul and enjoy life in a different way. And give the opportunity to new individuals who will come in, and there's always somebody who is going to replace me. Although, don't forget, I was never officially a member of the organization. I always refused to become an official member. As I told you, when you become an official member, you are basically under their 100% control. And that's not something I'm willing to do. That's not me.
Can I ask you, before you continue, what does that mean for the work that I'm doing, right? Over the past few years, I've stepped up to do a lot. Where does that place me when you will no longer be here? I know we'll always have our relationship, but I'm talking about the work within the organization specifically.
It's really going to be more up to you. I can tell you that. There's many changes in the organization, and I'm not the only one who's being replaced right now. Our boss, Dee, left. She retired. Officially, she retired as of January 1st. This is one of the reasons I decided to leave on that day as well.
Did Dee retire out of a negative reason, or she just wanted to move on?
No. She's much older than me. Look, she's doing it for 45 years or more. It's a very tough job. She's the chairman of the board of the New York chapter. That's not an easy task. She's been risking her life for many, many years. She's been hurt on the job physically. Like I said, it takes a toll on your physical body and your soul. It was time for her. She spoke about it also over the past few years. She made the arrangements in advance. She was training a specific person to take over, and he's the new boss right now. I'm not exactly thrilled of the choice she made. I made it very clear from day one, as you know. The job was offered to me in the beginning, but I rejected the offer.
The job to be the head of the New York chapter?
Yes.
What would that entail for you?
To take over the organization when it comes to New York. Basically getting to very high places in the organization, which I would have to be an official member, which I didn't want to be. I figured it was going to be too much for me. Again, to me, my family comes first, although I loved it, and I find it very intriguing and very exciting work. It comes with a price. Forget about the price I'm paying. It's a price that my family has to pay as well. And I always had certain conflicts with the organization. I think one way, they think a different way. They have their ways, they have their policies, and they are not going to change that. It got to a point where I said, you know what, I did my part. Maybe it's time to go, especially since I don't like the new administration. There are a lot of changes in the organization with new people coming in.
When you say you don't like the new administration, what does that mean?
Me and the new boss don't see eye to eye.
In what way?
Like I always said, they're too soft. He's softer than her.
Meaning you want more, like you say, fight fire with fire, and they just don't go that route.
They don't go that route. Look, the last 5 years, it was an era in the entire world. It was an era of consciousness. It was an era of transparency. It was an era of truth coming out. What happened in the last 5 years changed the world forever. It changed public consciousness forever. It is a positive change. That came through a negative process. As you know, we discussed before COVID. In 2019, I spoke to you about it. You were told about COVID. You were told about Australia, the fires, the children, the tunnels. You call it predictions, but it's not predictions. It's facts that were given to you, and you were chosen to speak about it, to bring it to the world. Other people, such as yourself, were chosen, but not necessarily with TLS, but with different organizations. If you pay attention, there are a lot of people like you around the world right now.
Yep.
And it's a process that took over the world, which I found to be, at the time, as a positive change. I was happy about it, and I was hoping to see more. But when the truth finally came out, if you remember in the beginning, people made fun of you. They called you crazy and a con man. But when those facts became true in the eyes of the world, people stopped making fun of you. People took you more seriously. And then when those criminals were exposed, not only by me, not only by you, but by many people around the world, I expected to see some kind of punishment. Look what happened in the world. Truth came out. Not 100%. There's a lot of hidden secrets still going on that will come to the light very soon. But the criminals are not being punished. I have a hard time living with this. I have a hard time living with those families we spoke about that really were there to destroy the world. Things are being changed, and things, thank God, did not go as bad as we thought they were going to be. But where is the punishment? Where is the price that people have to pay? How are you going to teach the rest of the world not to even think about doing this again? What's going to stop them in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years to try to do this again? As we speak, things are being done in order to destroy the good that has happened over the last few months. President Trump, for example, they tried to kill him a few times already. Do you think they stopped? No, they're still trying. They just didn't succeed.
Before moving to current events, I want to save that for later in the conversation. You just said it's up to you. My question was, with the new changes that are being done right now and being made with the organization specifically, where does that place me? What am I expected to do moving forward? How can I continue moving forward in the mission, the tasks that I took upon myself? What am I expected to do moving forward? How can I continue this work?
Knowing you, I believe you're going to see things from my perspective. I don't mean to say that you might fight fire with fire. That's not you. You don't do that. I mean, you might not like the new management. You might find them too soft, the way I find them. And you may want to do things in a different way, in a better way. And I believe you will. I believe you will. But it all depends on what's going to happen on the day-to-day. You're going to have to observe and make your own decisions. But look, you have the pyramid code. You have a lot of information that was given to you which is yours, that you could use. Nobody is going to take that away from you. And I trust you to do the right thing.
When you say the pyramid code, you're also talking about rays of light. I want to share my vision of how I want to move forward and let things kind of unfold however they need to unfold, and see your thoughts on it. Over the past 3, 4, 5 years, whenever this even started, because I lose track of time, but over the past few years, I've been given a lot, I've shared a lot, but I haven't had the time to dive deep into all of those texts in the way that I would have wanted to study them, to connect with them, and to really extrapolate as much, not just knowledge, but wisdom from them to share with people through series, workshops, new books that I write, things like that. And that's what I feel I'm being called to do, beyond and in addition to many other things at the same time. But to take all of that was shared with the world and to dive deeper into it and to become a teacher of those things, because I think that there are a lot of lessons there. My question is that in alignment with a vision that you see for me as well from your perspective with what you know?
Yes, absolutely. Don't forget, the information that was given to you, most of it was given to you by me, which means it's my material. I wrote it. I'm responsible for the material. I stand behind it. Nobody can take it away from you but me. And I'm not planning to take it away from you, as long as you understand the agreement that nothing goes public without my permission.
What about the portions of rays of light that I never received yet? Can you consider giving me more of those over time?
Right now, no, but I'm not going to say no forever. I need to see how things progress with the organization and how things progress with you. Right now, I'm more concentrated on my own personal life. I'm going on a long vacation. I'm going to the Far East. I'm going to be in the sun. I want to enjoy life in a different way right now. I don't want to deal with missions. I don't want to deal with secrecy. I want to live a good family life.
Fair enough. No, I totally understand it. I may not like it, but I can't blame you. I do understand that with where you want to move forward. I just want to leave a door open here, because you still have a lot of time in your life, even though you're tired. You got time. And whenever you do relax and recharge and go through that, I want to just keep the door open for other conversations and interviews like this to happen. When it can happen, I have no idea. That's up to you. But I do want to keep that door open, if you're open to it, to talk about past times that you've had, past things that you've learned. There's a lot that you haven't shared on camera yet.
My relationship with you will stay the same. I have no issue with that. Giving you more information. I know what you're looking for, and I'll do my best. Don't forget, before I give you more information, that's not mine, meaning outside of rays of light.
I'm talking about things that are yours and only yours.
What's mine is mine, and I'm allowed to do whatever I want with it, as long as you understand that I expect you to respect the secrecy that I ask of you. You do not release anything without my permission.
Fair enough, but I'm going to ask for more as much as I can to be able to share more. That's my job.
And I will give you whatever I can. My door is always open. You know where to find me. We could always do more work together. If I can teach you certain things on a personal level, it doesn't mean it has to be on camera. I will do my best to do it. You know how I feel about you. We have a very special relationship. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing fine. You're a human being. You made mistakes along the way. That's fine. We all make mistakes. I make mistakes too. As long as you recognize your mistakes and you own them and know how to move on, I have no issue with that.
On the topic of mistakes, I want to segue into that next question that we were going to talk about regarding EESystem. But before I do, I want to give a quick little background for anybody that doesn't know the entire timeline, so everybody can have a refresh of their own memory. So a few years ago, about 3 years ago, I interviewed the founder of EESystem, and we spoke about the EESystem technology, and I even tried it on my own family, and we saw incredible things. The conflict that's happening today is not about the technology, because the technology absolutely works. The technology that all the center owners, over 500 centers, have all around the world in over 50 countries around the world is not in question here. It's a powerful and incredible technology. But what is in question is who actually invented it. For me, once I found out certain things, which I have a lot of questions for you and for the organization about, even though I have certain statements from the organization that they gave and that I shared with all the center owners specifically, I found it very hard once I started finding out certain things to not about representing the technology because it's incredible, but representing the individuals that basically made false claims about their ties to the technology and who really invented it, which bothered me because I come from a place of honor, I come from a place of truth, I come from a place of integrity, and when any of that is in question, I need to find a different way to associate myself. And this was a really, really hard topic to deal with, although we're at the very, very far end of all of that now. But it was a very hard situation for me to deal with because on one hand, the technology is incredible. On the other hand, the story that I was told by the family themselves, by the founder themselves, and even to an extent by TLS themselves, was not exactly what happened. So my question is, speaking on the topic of mistakes, how did we come to this point? If TLS is supposed to know everything and is so powerful and has so many connections, how was I put in the position that I was in to go and interview the so-called founder, who is not exactly the founder in the way that we were all told? And how did we get to this point? On one hand, it's amazing because we brought out so much awareness for this incredible technology. But there is a problem that needs to be acknowledged here, and there's responsibility and accountability that needs to be taken here.
You have very tough questions, as always. But in order for me to answer you intelligently, I have to go to the beginning.
Before you start from the beginning, I do want to give credit where credit is due, because although this is a very weird situation that we need more clarity on, there's a lot of things, if not all of the things that were shared with me, not predictions, but basically facts, because they all came true. Things like COVID, things like fires that were going to happen, earthquakes that were going to happen in certain depths, in certain places around the world, closures of certain countries and governments around the world. All of those were shared with me by the organization, by you as well, and they all came true. So there is a lot of validity here, but this is something that we need to question, because I'm looking and I'm saying, what the hell is going on here? And one thing that I did learn, just on a personal level with the organization, is sometimes when I don't understand something from the very beginning, at some point it ends up making sense, and I see the bigger picture. My heart tells me this is one of those situations. But right now, I need to understand what's going on, and everybody needs to understand what's going on as well. So by all means, start from the beginning.
We first met when you started to realize that I am working for a specific organization, and I'm not exactly who I told you that I am. And we became closer and closer. And you were finally recruited into the organization, unofficially. But you've been recruited. And you became sort of a spokesman for them. First of all, just to remind you, and to your viewers from day one, I was against you joining the organization in an official manner. As you remember, I told you, I don't think you're doing the right thing for yourself, and I don't think you should do it. And I spoke from my own personal experience, because you have to give a lot of your own personal life in order to do this kind of work. The higher you're going to step up, the harder it's going to be for you, the more compromises you have to make, and the more sacrifices you're going to have to make on a personal level. But you insisted that you were willing to take it on, and you were very eager to do the work. By the way, I'm not the only one who told you that. Members of your family, people who were close to you, came to you and told you, listen, you're making a mistake. Don't do it. You have too much to lose. As a businessman, you were doing very well for yourself. It's not like you needed the money. Besides, you were not getting paid for the work you're doing. Nobody was paying you anything. But you were intrigued. You were curious. You were intrigued. You were excited. You wanted to do it because the real estate life was not exciting to you, which I can understand. So once you became so-called a part of the organization in a public manner, and you started speaking on video and saying certain things, obviously you had a very, very hard time at the time, and I needed to support you, and I did my best. Other members of the organization also supported you because people gave you a hard time. They called you a con man, and all kinds of names, or whatever it is. But eventually, when things happened, and they saw that you know what you're talking about, most people changed their minds, although until today, you still have some people calling you names. Then, the EES project, which is what we call it, came into play. A certain individual from the organization, who was given this project, called the EES project, gave you the task, with the authorization of D, of course, and the blessing of the organization. They wanted to take this technology and bring it to the world. This individual, Mark, as you remember, was given the task of doing the work by giving it to you, for you to take it over. His job was to investigate and bring you a package, ready to go. He did the work. He gave you the whole thing, but he never went to check the details.
Why?
Few reasons. You have to understand that Sandra has a certain relationship that you cannot understand with Dee. This relationship goes back to different reincarnations. Sandra has a soft spot in Dee's heart from previous relationships. I don't know if Sandra even understands it, but they spoke about it. It was even done in letters. If you remember, I saw those letters. You have those letters. I know you're not allowed to bring it into the public eye. Sandra was not supposed to bring it into the public either, although I know she shared it with certain people without permission. So, Mark, because he knew the relationship between Dee and Sandra, he did not bother to check the details. They knew about lawsuits and disagreements with other people, but they believed her. Nobody bothered to check. This is where he screwed up. He screwed up royally. If he would go in and check, the same way you did, within 24 hours. It took you exactly 24 hours to understand what was going on. And, don't forget, you screwed up also.
That's what I was going to say.
You did not know in the beginning about the problems and the lawsuits and all that. You found out a short time after, I don't remember when. You went to Sandra, you went to Michael, her son, to find out what's going on. They gave you a story, and you believed them because you had a good relationship with them. You didn't have a reason to suspect anything else. You were being naive. You should have gone and checked. Not only that, don't forget that you only checked, I believe, in November, because somebody approached you and told you something. That made you go and check what's going on. Even though you had issues with EES for the last 6 months, you still didn't bother to go check. You only checked because somebody approached you. I don't know who, but I know somebody approached you with certain information.
It was multiple people.
Multiple people. And then you said, let me check. And then within 24 hours, you found Robert. You met with him. You got the information. You checked it. You validated the information. And everything changed. You only found out because this went public and people came to you and said, listen, you don't know what the hell is going on. This is the real story. At the time, you were in talks with them. You saw the way they behaved with you. You saw the betrayal. And you still didn't bother to check up until the end of November. When some people came to share information with you, you saw that they betrayed you. You saw that they lied to you. You saw that they were taking actions against you in order to cut you off. You realized that they were trying to cut you out in order to save money and make more money, as if the tens of millions of dollars they made was not enough for them. And you still did not go and check. So, you need to own this. I know you don't like to hear what I have to say, but you are just as much to blame as Mark. Although Sandra took the source code from another individual and called it her own, and basically lied to the world about the origins of the technology, she still has certain qualities in her. We all have our good side and bad side. And she did the wrong thing. And she kept the secret for many years. She kept lying about it, and she perfected the lie. I think her own children, who were small children when it happened, believe her story. I'm sure today, they know the truth. Because the proof is out there. But they have to play the game. Especially her son. So they have a problem. They need to prove that it belongs to them. Which it doesn't, and they cannot. They're going to make up stories now. They're going to bring all kinds of witnesses. They're going to bring all kinds of experts and professors to say this, and to say that. But it's too late for that. And I'm asking you today, dear, you need to own your mistakes, because you screwed up also. You went and represented a technology, which is fine, because it works great, but you also represented people in a company that you didn't do your due diligence on. The same way we can blame Mark for screwing up. You screwed up also.
I do own it. I do take responsibility for the fact that I didn't look deeper. Not to justify anything, but I would say I was in the same position that Mark was. I wasn't even focused on something like that. And when it came my way, I had no reason to believe or think that something like that could be true. But yeah, I made a mistake, and now we got to correct those mistakes. However, in my opinion, number one, I don't believe in mistakes. I don't think any of us do. But there are mistakes on the surface. I get that. We're seeing where it's leading to now, because the beauty over here is that it does not take anything away from the technology itself. The technology that the owners have around the world, and tell me if you disagree, but you and I have spoken about that and I know where we stand. The technology is incredible and you don't need proof for it. The proof is in the pudding. You're seeing people all around the world have incredible results. This is simply a conflict on where it's coming from and doing the right thing, morally, ethically, and so on and so forth. So the decision that I made to come out and move forward, I stand by it. I think it was a very good decision. I think it was a very good action to take. Are there hardships now to deal with? Sure, but I'm a big boy. I'll deal with them. We'll figure them out. And that's it. But again, do you see any other way of moving forward after I found out what I found out?
No, I agree with you. I would probably do the same thing because you got to a point where you had no choice. And that was the only choice to move forward in order to protect yourself, the organization, the technology, and the center owners. But I urge you to do your due diligence, the same thing you did with Robert. And by the way, Robert is not exactly an angel. He's a human being. He has his faults. Everybody has their faults, and that's okay. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. But the question is, to what level? What she did is disgusting. She took a person. She took advantage of him. She did what she did. At least pay him and take care of him. But thank God you're stepping up. You're taking care of the issue right now, and things are going to go very well moving forward. Don't forget that Unifyd Healing may have started with one technology, but the target is to go to other modalities and to bring more modalities into the world. I know the organization expects that from you to do in the future. They will help you wherever they can. Also, don't forget the job of TLS at the time, when they brought you to the technology, and they told you this verbally and in writing. We're here to help you, to bring good technologies into the world. We are here to give you the first steps, but we're not here to babysit you. You're going to have to do this on your own, and they expected this from you and Michael, the CEO of the company, to do the right thing.
On that note, I just want to point out, in terms of being autonomous, because that's what was expected of me, I didn't want to bother the organization with a million things that came up here and there. So when the information regarding Robert initially came to me in, I think, 2023, and went to center owners around the world as well, a lot of people had questions. I asked my questions to the owners and the founder of EESystem. I was given a response, and that's where I was satisfied, and I moved on. That was my mistake. But the reason why I didn't go to the organization, to TLS, to D, to anybody about that was because I wanted to be as autonomous as possible to try and prove myself. But again, I made a mistake. I own it. I did not look deep enough into it until much later, but at least it happened at some point.
Now that you learned about due diligence, which you did, you found out more information that you're not giving to the public. You have a lot of personal information about each one of them. Why aren't you releasing it?
Because it's not going to do anything.
They are spreading rumors about you that are not true. You have information on them that's true. I thought I taught you something.
I disagree. I understand what you're saying. They could share whatever they want. I think it's very obvious what's going on here. For anybody that wants to believe certain things, even though I show that proof that all of those things are just, it's not only it's not true, it's stupid. There's stupid statements that are being made. But it is what it is. Fighting fire with fire, I don't do that. I will only go that route if I have no other choice. But you got to really, really push to give me no other choice. That's a big thing that you're talking about. I know what you're talking about, and I don't want to go that route unless I have to.
What do they have to do in order for you to go public and speak about their personal actions outside of EES, outside of the technology?
I don't even want to talk about it because it's not worth speaking about right now. My attention is in other places. My attention is focused on building everything for center owners. My attention is not on war. I really couldn't care less. And even when there is a war, I could do 100 things at the same time. You want to fight? We could fight. But I'm still going to build. And I'm still going to help everybody. And I'm still going to support all the center owners. The owners didn't do anything. I'm not going to allow anything to come in the way of their success. But again, if somebody forces me to have to go a certain direction, I have no other choice. But I'll do everything simultaneously. What they have to do, why is it important?
Right now, let's say about 90 to 95% of the people are on your side. Is that fair to say?
No, because it's not about my side. And I say this to everybody. This isn't about choosing a side. It's about looking at what the hell is in front of you. There are things in black and white. There's proof in front of you. It's not about my side or somebody else's side. It's about what's true. So anybody that is on that side that you're calling it is not on my side. They're just choosing to see the truth that's in front of them. Do I care about the other 5%? Of course I do, but I can't force everybody to see something. So we keep moving forward.
You don't have to force. You only have to bring the facts.
No, I'm not going to do it. Because no matter what, those individuals that choose not to believe something, no matter what you show them, I will always be the devil and somebody else will always be the opposite. It doesn't matter. Again, if it came to me caring about those things, what about the 5% that think I'm crazy for doing the work that I do in the first place? Let them be. Why do I care about it?
I heard that he said that. You are Ray, and you're interviewing yourself. Is that correct?
Yes.
You saw it on video? I heard about it. I did not see it on video.
Yes.
He publicly went and said that.
Yes.
And I heard that he said he has proof.
Yes.
Did you see any of his proof?
No. I don't like bringing people down if I don't have to. And I don't see my actions as bringing people down. I see my actions as sharing truths. But if individuals don't give me any other choice, I have to share more truth. Nothing I could do.
You're not bringing anybody down. They're bringing themselves down.
Me and you have different ways of going about things. I understand your ways. I do not completely agree with your ways. I think that there are ways in the middle of doing things. And I think we're in a great place right now.
Let's move on.
By the way, on the topic of the technology, the light system, I know I got permission, obviously, and blessings to move forward with the name. What do you think about it?
I like the pyramid.
Yeah.
Make sure I get one.
Current events, a lot of people have questions. Trump, current events, next steps. Again, I know you're going to be moving on, moving forward, doing your own thing. I will be using this time, however long it lasts, to dive as deep as I possibly can into all the documents, all the information that I've received, the Pyramid Code, Rays of Light. I want to do series on Unifyd TV, workshops on Unifyd TV, maybe even tours talking about this information and sort of like bring people together all around the world to speak about it and expand upon that, because it's beautiful, beautiful information, beautiful energies that are being shared as well. So where do you see next steps for not just the U.S., but the world as a whole in a concise way, right? Without making predictions. What you see, what you know, what you believe will happen next based on the information that you know. We could take it from there.
Between now, or between last year, up to mid-April, his life is in danger.
When you say up to mid-April, what are you talking about?
Mid-April 2025.
How do you know that?
I'm not going to tell you how I know that, but they're trying to neutralize him.
So after mid-April, he's good?
If he makes it to mid-April, he will most likely finish the rest of his term.
Okay.
They are trying to do it in many ways. Poisoning is one way. The second way was by explosion.
Explosion?
Explosion of... Remember Oklahoma with the truck? Something like that. The organization and other organizations are working to stop it. But you're dealing with very evil people. We spoke about it before. Very capable people and very evil people. He's not the only target. There are other people who are targets like Bobby Kennedy. If you remember, already last year, I said we are going to have a very tough time until mid-2025. By mid-2025, going forward to 2026, we are going to start seeing the light and the world will be in a much better place. That's the plan. That's the target. And most likely, it will happen. I believe that things will get better because I believe the organizations, not only TLS, will be successful. They're finally doing things, not my way, their way, which is slower, but it looks like it's succeeding.
In what way?
They're getting rid of evil by taking them out of the formula, but they're still alive. They still survive. They still have their money.
So when it comes to the economy moving forward, do you see a better sort of phase coming? Because on one hand, you're saying, yeah, banks can still collapse, but I want to focus on the bright times coming ahead because there are many.
The U.S. is doing much better and will do better. For example, BRICS was canceled, as you know.
Was it?
Yes. He threatened them with tariffs. So Putin and everyone else went back and said, okay, no more BRICS for now. Because he fights. Why do I like Trump? Because he fights. Fire with fire. And that's what I'm trying to teach you. But for some reason, you're not listening to me. You're listening to TLS. But that's your business. So, economically, yes, the U.S. is doing better. We'll do better. But it will be very tough to get rid of a $36 trillion deficit. It's not as easy as it sounds. People think Trump came in, the Messiah is here, and suddenly, everything will be great. It doesn't work like that. It will be better, but it will take a lot of time and effort. And I hope people will wake up. People are starting to wake up. I'm counting on people like you to do the work.
And many others. I'm not, I can only do so much. I'm one person, and my job is really like I want to inspire people to do more of this work, to take the lead in their own, because if a lot of people did it, the world would change much faster instead of just having a few people that the world looks up to. I don't think that that's a good thing. Now let's go to you for the last portion of this conversation. Where are you going?
My first stop will be the Seychelles Islands.
Where is that?
Far East.
Okay.
You've never been to the Seychelles Islands?
No.
I've been there, but not on vacation.
Okay.
So I'm going there. And from there, I'm buying a one-way ticket. And from there, I'll decide. I'll travel for a while, come back, spend more time with the family.
Okay. And when it comes to your family in general, do you plan on, when are you going to be public in terms of your identity?
Never.
Even to your family?
For what?
Why not?
I don't see a reason. It's working fine the way it is now. Why drive people crazy? You know how many questions they're going to ask me.
But, at some point you're getting closer to the end of your life. It's a beautiful thing to share.
Well, my wife knows that's enough. But then your children, and then your grandchildren, and then your cousins. Where does it end?
Do you really think that your retirement will last?
Look, retirement. When I'm saying retirement, I'm saying retirement from TLS. I still have my businesses to run. I have many businesses that I'm running.
The businesses that you run, I know you have a lot of people running them simultaneously. How many businesses do you run?
A lot.
Can you give me a number?
No, but a lot.
10, 100, 50?
About 100.
In what domains?
Agriculture. Medical supplies. Computers. Hotels. Some real estate.
Okay. Well, again, while you go and do what you do, whatever time you take, I want our relationship to remain alive and well, and I want to make sure that that's a thing.
Of course.
And can you share things with me? Maybe you won't come on camera, but we've always done different updates here and there, and if there are things that you can share, would you be open to sharing them with me with the intention of me being able to share them with the world over time?
For you, no problem.
And I could share that with the world?
Depending on the subject matter at the time. But yes, especially if it's something from the past. Yes.
Fair enough. We'll take it day by day. I told you, I love you. I wish you all the best. I know everybody wishes you the best in terms of where you're going next and what you're doing. I don't think it's going to last very long for you, but time will tell. Maybe it will, and you really are moving into a different chapter. I want to keep doing this work. I want to keep diving into Rays of Light, the Pyramid Code. I want to bring it to Unifyd TV to do series and workshops. There's so much that can be taken from all of those documents, and now I guess I'll have the time to do it while also obviously doing everything with Unifyd Healing, with the light system technology, and so on and so forth. So I really just want to wish you the best. I want to say thank you for everything that you've given over the past few years to everybody watching. I know that just from seeing past comments of people when they heard that this was the direction that you're going into, everybody wishes you the best and sends you a lot of love. And I'll ask everybody watching this if you can actually comment below this video with anything you want shared with Ray about your messages or whatever it is that you want to share with him on his next steps and his next chapter in his life. Comment below this video so I can show you directly and we could have a good time with it. But I want you to know that all the work that you've done, especially in these interviews, has not been in vain. It's helped a lot of people all around the world. It's helped expand their consciousness and their minds in many different ways for people all around the world. And I know you'll continue doing the work, maybe in a different way, but it's the type of person you are. So thank you very much, and we all love you very much.
Quick question. When are you launching the marketplace?
By this time of this interview coming out, it should probably already be out.
And when do I get my pyramid?
As soon as possible.
Make sure I get the first one off the line.
Okay.
Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you very much.